Oh God, Strafe, what did they do to you?
Michael Bay decided that you just weren't cool enough and he wanted somebody that had an actual video game reference for a name, so they went with me. And he also thought it'd be better that if we had two heads better than one.
Oh, oh, mother of God.
Hey guys, welcome back to Unimportant Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we'll be going over the Hasbro Transformers Age of Extinction Generation Strafe. And that is a mouthful. But this is the Toys R Us exclusive of the deluxe line. And this is the Transformer that you see in the new trailers for the Age of Extinction movie. That he's the two-headed pterodactyl looking guy that's either dive bombing Bumblebee in the trailer or trying to pick him up. It's kind of hard to tell from there, and the movie's not yet, so it's all a bunch of speculation at the moment. I actually think he was a really cool design. I really do like the two-headed pterodactyl look to him. He's got like the multiple tail thing going on from what it looks like up here. And he kind of gives off a King Ghidorah vibe, which I really love Godzilla, so he's already getting some bonuses from me from there. And there was a lot of speculation that he was actually Swoop in the trailer, which I think it's really cool that they actually come with Swoop in the package, because it's not Swoop. His name's Strafe, which I just guess is that just Swoop's not hip enough for the new kids, so they had to give him an upgraded version, which I'm fine with. And I really actually don't mind when they try to go back and update some of the old characters, because, you know, sometimes with the design aspect, they tend to bomb with it, but sometimes we get some really good gems out of it. And he actually looks like he'd be really cool, at least the way he's sitting in the packaging. But getting into the packaging, I really do like this packaging because it has like that new movie vibe going on this side. And then when you start getting over to here, it starts giving off this nice Gen 1 feel, which, especially when you turn the packaging, like that's just pretty much straight up old gen right there. And he's a, if you can see here, he's a Dinobot and a Stealth Fighter. And then for the back of his packaging, you see that Strafe only has 10 steps in his transformation, which seems really simplistic, but not having to figure out the package yet, he looks like he's probably not going to be all that complicated. And then Swoop only has 4, which, man, I'm hoping he looks better than what he does there. But he's number 26 out of 30 out of the collections. And then another cool thing is I really like the diagrams that they got going on back here, where they have like the Gen 1 Grimlock up here. And then if you come down to here, they have like the Gen 1 Grimlock with the new Grimlock. And then you also see, kind of hard with the lighting. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that a bit. You see like the Optimus heads down here, and they have like it comparing next to the new ones. And it's a really cool design. And then nothing for the side of the packaging, because usually that's where they had the data for them for like his strength and speed and whatnot, which they've been kind of steering away from, which is a little bit of a bummer. But it's enough about that. Let's get him open up out of his plastic prison. Alright, so first I want to go over his accessories, which he comes with 2 of these swords, which are pretty basic looking swords. They don't have too much in terms of detail going on with them. But I really do like the silver paint application that they got going on them. So they gave us a little bit to go with these, so makes me happy. And then for this crossbow, it's actually pretty cool. So I like the detailing on it because it has this nice blue, dark blue and black going on. And it has these ridges down here, and it actually has sights on the gun. So that's actually pretty cool. And then for the bow portion of this, it kind of reminds me of the design going on with its tail here. Even though it's black, this is silver, but still, it's nice. And then it comes with the friction system for the how you shoot the missile, which is cool because you pretty much just push on the back of it, and the faster you push, the farther it shoots. And I actually really like these because then, at least for me as a collector, I don't have to really worry about, say, like I pick up the toy to dust it or something, and then I push a little button out, or I accidentally push a button and the missile goes flying across the room, and then I'm just like, Alright, so next we're going to go over these guys in robot form, which first we'll start with Swoop, which, from what I can understand, he is a Dark of the Moon minicon from the Dinobot set, which, don't quote me on, I'm not positive, but just from looking up some of the info on these guys. And I think it's cool he's got the little minicon logo here to kind of help with that, but I really don't like this thing in robot form. Like, at least on mine, the face looks kind of deformed on here, if you guys can see it. And he more or less in this form just kind of looks, it's reminiscent of a penguin for me, where he's just, you haven't seen yourself, he looks like he's just, rah, 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 rah. And I'm just, I just can't get behind this figure. But the main reason we're here is for Strafe, which I love this thing in robot form. I think it actually looks really cool, and he has a really, really nice paint application going on here. If I can fix his head. Like, overall design, I think actually they really did do a good job in Strafe. Even though he wasn't actually a Dinobot in the original Gen 1 series, but I think this guy actually looks pretty fantastic, and you see where his tails are coming through here and stuff. And one thing I actually want to point out in the packaging, at least for mine, is that his legs weren't properly transformed. They actually had him in the dinosaur form, because this part pops out, flips around, and comes back in, and that's how you get it for his dinosaur form. And that's how it came in my packaging. So when I was first looking at it, I was just like, wow, he looks really stumpy. And then looking at the instructions, I was like, oh, gotcha. So pop that back in. So once that happened, he actually looks pretty sweet. The only real thing in terms of design aspects is his legs kind of go off in this little weird crooked pattern. So he's kind of like chicken-legged. But still, it's not a bad look. I really like his legs overall because you got like the crest coming up here, which are his feet. And he has like the elf boots going on, just like reminiscent of Grimlock. And for his head sculpt, I actually think they did a really good job on it. It's kind of reminiscent of something you'd seen like Dark Souls or like a weird version of Boba Fett's helmet. And it's actually got a nice baby blue paint application on here. And I just really enjoy like the pterodactyl heads coming across the chest and stuff. Like, I think it's just a really, really awesome look. And one thing actually I plan on doing on displaying this guy, at least on my shelves, is I don't mind the tucked in look all that much, but like for the Dinobot, or sorry, the Predaking that I have, I actually really like displaying him with the wings out. And I just think he looks a lot more menacing just standing there with... And he still holds his pose very well with them out. So this is how I would recommend actually displaying them, if you guys are into that. So one reason I actually really like having the wings out too is it actually uncovers the storage hole for his weapon, which is how you display it in his pterodactyl form. Which, if you put it in there, yeah, I think it's really hard to get in there. Then you get a nice storage so you don't have to worry about losing the weapon, because how I'm going to be displaying it is with the swords anyways. So, this is another little heads up if you guys want to do that instead of having it displayed like how it shows on the actual card. And then getting in for his articulation, his head is on a nice ball joint. Move side to side. Move a little bit forward and a little bit up and down just because of the transformation here. And then you pretty much get the full pulsability with the wings where they can go in and out. This part moves in and out as well. And then lift up his head for a second. His shoulder's on a nice ball joint, or is not really a ball joint, but the little peg joints where it moves up and down, and then it has a rotation up here. And then it also has a rotation at the bicep. His elbow bends in and out. And then his hand here only has a pivot. So it can only go up and down. It can't move like in and out or anything because it's not really on a ball joint or anything. And then for his waist, there's a rotation there. Which it's a little bit hindered because even if you move the tail up and down, which is on a little peg joint, so that can move up, but you still can't really easily get this thing to go all the way around. So, but it's still nice that there's a little bit of playability there. And his legs are on a ball joint, so they can move a little bit in and out. You got to work with it to get it to move like straight all the way down and back because the plastic gets in the way. But still, it's really nice. And then he has a bend at the knee. He also has a rotation up here at a little bit higher up on the knee. And then nothing really much down here with his feet. Get his head back in. One thing I really wish is that they had a peg somewhere for these things on his head so they actually would snap in a bit. That would have been really nice. But overall, I think I really do like this form a lot. I think he looks really menacing, and I really do love the way the heads come across here anyways. So I actually think this guy looks fantastic. And here's Age of Extinction Strafe compared next to the Age of Extinction Grimlock, which I actually think this is actually a really nice scale for these figures. And even though he's not officially, God damn it, Swoop! Alright, I'm gonna hold him because his leg joints aren't the best anymore. But here's Age of Extinction Strafe compared next to the Gen 1 Swoop. So here's Strafe and Swoop in their pterodactyl form, which first we're gonna go over Swoop, which I actually like this in this form a lot more because it actually looks like what it's supposed to. And I like that his mouth can move up and down and stuff. Where he's like squawk. So if you end up getting the 2-pack set, I really can't stress enough that this is the way it should be on your shelf. Like, it's all up to you, but I think this is the best looking form for him by far. And then getting over the Strafe here, I actually really do like this form too. I think it's really cool with the 2-headed pterodactyl look, and I really just love the paint. Like, I can't stress enough how much I love this paint application on here. Like, I just really love the silver going into the blue here, and then especially underneath too. Because if you can see here, it's a little bit of a bummer on mine that there's a little bit of a splotch of paint there, which isn't really hindering for me, and I'm sure it's not on every single figure, but it's just, it shows up on mine, so that kind of sucks a little bit. All these nice like spice and horns coming off of it, and it just kind of gives them a nice like exoskeleton look going on here, which is really, really awesome. And then for a couple of my little nitpicks, I really wish that they would have added like the Dinobot logo here instead of having the Autobot logos on the wings. I think that would have been a nice little touch. It's not bad because it's just these guys are probably going to be good guys, so it makes sense to have the Autobots, but it would have been a nice little homage to the characters. And then another thing I didn't really point out is that for the tail here, it's made out of this soft rubber, which is really cool because you don't actually have to worry about these things breaking or anything over time, or randomly just like dropping the guy and then these things snap off. So that's really cool. And then getting into his posability, for his head, they can move up and down. The mouth can open up and down as well. And then up here, mainly for the transformation, for how you get pegged next to the chest here. But it gives it a pivot too. The same way that the neck, it can move in and out too. So you get a lot of posability with this, where you can have them like looking at each other, and you can be like snapping at them angrily, like Mortal Kombat. And it's just that's actually a really cool touch to these. And for the wings, I was actually pretty surprised at how much posability they have, because you can get a nice flapping motion going on here. There's also a bend here at the tip of the wing. But you can get a flap, they can move back and forth, because it kind of shares the same joint as with the shoulder here, so you can get a lot of posability, like with him standing on the ground, or if you want to have him like outstretched or something. You can pretty much get a pretty good range of posing with this. And then make sure I didn't miss anything else up here. And it also can rotate, which is another really nice touch. Like, again, I thought there was going to be something like kind of fixed with the arms here, but they actually did a really good job with that. And then pretty much the rest of this is pretty much the same as in robot form. The only main difference is he loses his bend at the knee here, which sucks a little bit, but it's not really hindering, because when you bring it forward, that's pretty much how you're going to have him standing anyways. So it's fine that they actually got rid of that joint there, because you don't have to worry about, like, over time just starts tipping over because of the joint getting loosened. So, and then one other thing is he has a pivot at his feet, which is mainly for when you transform in the knee, but it's still nice, because then you can have his feet out when he's in, if you have him in flight mode. So if you have him on a nice little space stand or just hanging off the ceiling or something, he has a really nice flight pose. If I can get him in on the shot all the way. So overall, I actually really do like this form too. I think it turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. The only real thing is I wish the hands could also came down, because they kind of just sit out here, which is a little sad, and I think they could have maybe added a little joint just to tuck them in here. That would have made me happy, but usually whenever you see, like, especially like on the Beast Wars figures and stuff like that, where they don't really do a very good job at hiding all the stuff, which out here, for other than pretty much the arms kind of sitting there, I think they did a really great job. So, Granted, I'm probably going to be keeping this guy in robot form just because I think it's a lot cooler of a look and a little more imposing, but this is actually a really nice alternative too. Another thing I want to show you guys is this weapon storage, which he has one here. And then underneath his wings, he has a spot here and here, and the same with on the other side. So that's pretty much where you're going to be sticking the swords, is like underneath. So you can put them here, which is, if I could get it to stay in, is probably how I'm going to be storing. If I had this guy in this form anyways, this is where I would be storing these swords. And then up at the top here is where you stick the crossbow. Which, personally for me, I'm not really a big fan of the weapons on here. Like, it's nice that he has the option, but I personally think it looks kind of goofy, so I'm just gonna take these off. And here's Strafe compared next to Grimlock and T-Rex form, which personally for me, this actually is a scale that works really well until I actually see the movie, because I would imagine the leader class would be really good, but this works really fine for me. And here's Strafe in pterodactyl form compared next to the G1 swooping pterodactyl form. So overall with Strafe here, I'm actually really surprised with this figure. I think he actually turned out really great. And in terms of overall paint application, design, and just overall quality of the figure, he's probably my favorite so far of the AoE. Even though I really do love the Optimus Prime, but I think this figure just shines a little bit more above that just because of the overall paint on this guy. Is just blows me away. And granted, I'm going to be keeping him mainly in robot form if I'm going to be slaying him, but the dinosaur form is actually a very nice alternative. And I know this guy, even though he's a Toys R Us exclusive right now, he's going to be coming out in the second wave, I do believe, of the AoE Deluxes. So if you can't find this figure at Toys R Us, they are going to be putting him back out. So if you guys really don't want to swoop, which I don't actually think is all necessary for this guy, because it's not even him to begin with. So if you guys can't find it, it's going to be coming back out, and I really actually do recommend picking up this figure. I think this guy's great. So what do you guys think of Strafe? Are you guys excited about him? Have you guys found him at your local Toys R Us? Or are you guys just not a big fan of Michael Bay? Please let me know in the comments. We're going to have close-up pictures of him on our Facebook page. You want to click on the link in the description below. And if you guys like this video and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Oh no.